Hi, I'm Rhonda Massad from the West Island blog, and I am here with a very special guest, Tisha Lajeunesse out of Pointe-Claire. How are you, Tish?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to see you.
Thank you.
Tish, at the beginning of March, had COVID-19. She eloquently her and her family took in somebody, her neighbors. I think it was your neighbors, right, Tish?
No, just a good friend that I had grown up with.
Okay, that had a pregnant wife, and rather than have her exposed, you took it upon yourself and your family had a family meeting and you decided to weather the storm together. Talk to me about how that decision was made.
Well, we had already started our own quarantine because my husband and I had left early in March to go to the Caribbean. And a friend who we were not traveling home with had called and said he was worried and would it be possible for us to take him in because, everything was very preliminary in the news. We had no idea what was ahead of us. And he was really worried about his wife, who was about 3 months pregnant. So knowing that we were already in the thick of it and we were already in our quarantine, we felt that it was, I guess, a no-brainer. You don't tell a friend who's worried about his pregnant wife that he can't come stay with you. So we accepted him in. We thought it might even be more fun to weather it together.
Okay. And so you have how many kids in the house?
We have 2 children.
Okay. So there's 4 of you plus your friend.
That's right.
Okay. So you start out, any symptoms, anything going on? What's going on?
No, the first couple of days, there was a lot of stress because we're in quarantine, and also there's the jet lag factor. So my friend is saying that he's just sleeping really long. He's sleeping really long nights, which was great. By the 3rd day, he started to say that he felt a little bit under the weather. That's when it started.
Okay, this was a few days after you've been traveled and you came home. So we're at the beginning of March right now. As this progresses, let's fast forward to the fact that both of you now realize you have COVID. You're in the house. You didn't realize right away that you had.
No, I think it's pretty safe to say that he was the one that brought it. He brought it into the home. He started to feel ill first. I took care of him while he wasn't feeling well. He had a low-grade fever. He didn't really have any other symptoms. He would say to me on occasion, we'd be cooking together and he'd say, could you taste this soup? Because I feel like I can't taste it. And I'd ask him, is that normal? Has this ever happened to you? And he's like, yeah, I guess it must have happened. And this was before it had hit the news. Like, we didn't know that this was a symptom. This was all very preliminary. It was the beginning of March. So he became ill before me. And I started to have symptoms maybe 2 days after he had a low-grade fever.
Okay, what did your experience feel like? What symptoms did you have?
Until it came out in the news that that the lost sense of taste and smell was an actual thing, we really didn't think that we had it.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, my screen just went funny.
Okay.
We didn't really think that he had it. So it was only once we saw that in the news that I started to think that perhaps
together
the shortness of breath that I was having was probably shortness of breath and not anxiety. I had attributed it to anxiety. I was working out the whole time. I thought that it was just high stress.
Okay, so you had COVID, didn't realize you had it. You had shortness of breath and you were a little tired, no?
No, I felt perfectly fine. I was working out. I had brought I had a rowing machine in my garage, and I was testing if I could beat my time. And I actually beat my time in this whole thing. I would just come out of the garage feeling like, I'm really grasping for air. That was really
how did you officially determine that you had COVID?
The day it came out in the news that the sense of taste and smell was an actual thing, my friend went to get tested, and then I went to get tested the day after, because that's when I thought maybe I actually had shortness of breath.
Okay, so there's 2 of you that later on are confirmed that you have it.
Correct.
And you're still living with 3 other people, your husband, of which you sleep in the same room.
Yeah. Yes.
So So, okay, at the end of the day, we can fast forward to the fact that the 3 other people in the house never got it.
That's right.
And does that seem perplexing to you?
We had this ongoing joke in the house because at the beginning there was so much paranoia, washing hands, you know, we were
Right.
watching the news, we were watching everything unfold,
You're
that
chapped. You're chapped.
it started to become a joke. At one point, my daughter takes my lip balm and I panic. I said, "What are you doing?" And she just says, "Well, Mom, we all have it anyways. You know, we know it's in the house. We've been watching the news and seen how contagious it was." So when we found out that I was the only one that had the antibodies, after there were 2 of us, well, that had this, like, we're still in shock. We're still in a state of shock that through all of this, me being a mom, having another friend in the house, that nobody else, including the husband who sleeps in the bed beside me, ever caught it.
So how do you know they didn't catch it?
We had antibody testing done.
All of you.
Yes.
And you were positive, your friend was positive, but the 3 others were not. Your husband and your 2 children are not.
They're
not.
not.
Okay, so you had that. Why did you have the antibody test done?
Curiosity, for sure.
I want to have it done, but I just, you know, I really just want to know. I think I've had it, but I can't officialize. I can't make that official.
And that was the same thing with the kids. And I think what we were all hoping, and my kids were saying, was we've weathered this. We've been through this incredible storm where we were confined to a house that had 2 people with COVID in it. We didn't get to go out. We didn't get to leave the house, or we didn't even get to have a safe place like most people had. So it was all about getting that piece of paper and proving, and we cannot prove how long or how strong or how long my immunity is going to last, or to what, you know,
or if we even have any. They're confused. The officials are confused that we even have immunity.
They are. To what degree do we all have it? The kids wanted that piece of paper to say, you know, we didn't do this for nothing. We didn't experience this for nothing. And the reality is, I think they were both very disappointed, upset really, that they went for a blood test and they went through all of this, and they don't even get to say at the end that they have the antibodies. In fact, they're still not even protected.
Okay.
They're just like everybody else, even though they've lived it.
So the fact that it's extremely contagious is confusing.
Very.
Point. Okay. So leaving the actual illness aside, what was the procedure for the city of Pointe-Claire? How did it work for you when you were actually sick?
There was a number. I found the number on one of the media sites, and
On a blog, perhaps? Kidding. I'm just kidding.
It's actually entirely possible. I had heard that there was a new clinic or a new testing spot that had opened up in Beaconsfield.
Right. On Elm.
Regardless, I think I called the general 1-800 number. I give my information. I give my postal code. I wait several hours, and then I get a phone call back with an appointment for that day. They were giving specific appointments. So I think I must have called at 10 o'clock in the morning, and my appointment was sometime around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. I think it had just opened. It was maybe the second or third day after it was opened. I was very impressed with the process, to the point where they had the little stickers on and this was early on. I remember coming home and thinking how incredibly organized they were to even have stickers in a warehouse somewhere in the event that they ever needed something like this. But regardless, they did. I remember standing there thinking, I shouldn't be here. I'm not sick. I'm actually, there's sick people here. I can see them and hear them coughing, and I'm going to give this to myself. And I came close to leaving, but I stayed. And
so what happened subsequently when you get home? The city of Pointe-Claire has an obligation to check on you.
No, actually, this was governed. The city of Pointe-Claire was not aware that.
Okay, you have to report it to the city.
No.
But I guess the clinic where you got tested, that's how the numbers are being accumulated. So that's fine. So every day people came to your house?
People did come to my house, but it was a result of me being forthright and telling people that I had it. So there was somebody from the city who one day came to my house to give me a piece of paper and I requested that piece of paper be left in the driveway rather than handed to me. And when I got this look of confusion, like I was probably overreacting, I explained that I had tested positive several days later, and that, you know, this person should probably not be going door to door and giving pieces of paper or even picking them up. This was a piece of paper that we were to sign and to be picked up after. And so that's how the city of Pointe-Claire ended up finding out that I had it. I just wanted to protect her. I wanted her to realize that she probably should be going door to door, but it did unleash a massive confusion. And yes, the police did come to the door every day to make sure that we weren't, which we never did. We didn't leave the house for a month, but to make sure that we didn't leave, because
you can't leave. Okay.
They didn't know how to deal with, none of us did.
Are you able to donate your plasma at this point?
I can't.
Okay.
You have to weigh 110 pounds to donate your plasma. So I've applied, but I was rejected. Okay.
And they keep track of you this way. Have you had any other interaction with any officials because you've had it?
No. And I was, considering I was of the first to contract it, I assumed that somebody would call me and say, we would like to put you on a list for antibody testing. We want to understand people who have received, who've received the live virus, how their bodies are responding, and we want to follow you. I'd love to do that. It's ultimately why I went for the antibody testing, because it worked. From what I've read in news sources, that your antibodies are apparently formed and at their highest 5 weeks after you've gotten over the virus. So I did the test 5 weeks later. If the government wants to use that information, I think that would be great. I'd be happy to participate in a study to see how strong and how long they last. Yeah.
Okay. So thanks for all this. Do you have anything that you want to say to the other moms out there, the other families that are at home worried?
Not really, because I think I'm still in shock that my family didn't get it. I wouldn't have changed the level of insanity that I had with the hand washing and the spritzing on the toilets and the doorknobs and everything. Just hand wash and eat well, because your immune system is very important for fighting these diseases.
And for your family in particular, it wasn't a harrowing experience.
No, thankfully. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to thank you for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. Have a great rest of your day. It's sunny out there.
Enjoy.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye.